Is your head filled with cow shit? You're probably wondering, why am I starting this live with this particular comment with statement? Well, first of all, I'm sick and it's Friday, end of the day. But the reason I say that is because these are the comments I grew up listening to. If I did not do well in my exam, if I did not get good grades, that's the kind of scolding I would get. There was also beating involved. It actually affects you a lot as you grow up. How your childhood basically decide how you're going to be as an adult. Just recently I had 5 women reach out to me, and they basically told me that it's because of my English that I'm stuck in my career. They basically said that I don't speak as well as the native English speakers. And this is the reason why I'm not getting promoted. People who are speaking up, especially the native people, they are the ones who are stealing the show. They are the ones who are getting credit for, for their ideas. Here's the problem. English is not the problem. You think English is a problem because that's what you have started believing. But honestly, that's not true because there are so many things that prove that English is not the problem. You went for a job interview, they hired you. If your English were not as good, trust me, they wouldn't have hired you because you need to have a certain level of understanding of English and communicate in a way that all the team members can understand. So, English is not a problem. Second thing, if you are working with cross functional teams, you are meeting deadlines, you're accomplishing big tasks, you are accomplishing great projects. If you are able to do that, then English is not your problem. I, I have so many South Asian women and women of color who come to me and tell me that it's because of their accent, it's because of their English, it's because of racism. And I'm not as naive to say that racism does not exist, but majority of the times is not that. The thing is that I started this live by saying is your head filled with cow dung? If I translate it in Marathi, my mom would basically use to say तुझ्या डोक्यात शेण भरलाय का. I want you to understand that your upbringing, the cultural conditioning, the programming has killed your confidence. You have amazing qualifications, you have amazing education, you have years of experience. But the way you have been sidelined all your life, because what generally happens is, the fate of South Asian women is already decided. You can go to the best school, you can have the best education, but ultimately, the goal for most parents, the parents of my generation at least, was to get girls married. If girls got married, they would give a sigh of relief that, oh wow, she's married and now my responsibility is over. The fact itself, that they think of you as a burden, that burden is over. That itself tells you how you are sidelined, in your personal life as well. And then you get married, then your fate is dictated by how the in-laws treat you. So throughout your life, you really did not have any say in your life in making any decisions. You always look for validation from your parents, from your dad, from your brother, from uncles, from grandfathers. Then you get married, then you look for validation from your partner, from in laws. So you're constantly looking for validation because throughout your life, you were disempowered. And this is the reason when you sit in meetings and there are strong personalities in the room, it is very similar to how you felt when you were younger and there were dominating personalities, the uncles or dad or brother sitting there, and your ideas were shot down or you are not even given permission to speak up. So when you are in these meetings, you're looking for permission, you're looking for validation, you are hoping that someone will back you, you are questioning yourself, is my idea good enough, is my voice worth being heard, and you're overpowered with all this self doubt and you don't speak up. So it's not that your English is not good, is that lack of confidence, is that lack of independence, the autonomy is missing. Because every time you want to open your mouth, you feel like you need some kind of validation that, yeah, your idea is good. But if all your life you have been sidelined, if all your life you were not given the power to decide, it becomes a habit to not be able to make that decision. And that decision could be as simple as sharing your idea in the meeting. The decision could be going to your boss and asking for a juicy project. The decision would be to go and negotiate a salary. The decision could be going for interviews and making your mark. But you miss it because it has been missed all your life. And honestly, it's easier to say that, English is my problem. But, and you may disagree with me with what I'm going to say now. We always look for things that do not really fix our problem. We 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 know that if I remove that superficial barrier that English is my problem, then we actually have to work harder and learn how to confront. We have to learn how to push back if someone is sidelining us. We have to actually learn and accept that, you know what, I am being mistreated. It means having some hard conversations. If you are sidelined by a peer, if they steal your ideas, if we don't keep that barrier of English, it means that you will need to go and confront that peer and say that, hey, that was my idea. But we like to keep English, as that barrier, because then we don't have to look at the real problems that we are going through. We have become used to being submissive. We have become used to being treated as a second class citizen. We have used to feeling helpless. And this is the reason why we are so afraid of speaking up. The overthinking and the overanalysis that goes on in the mind is because of this helplessness, this learned helplessness. Only recently I was sharing this in my coaching group, how they train an elephant, how they domesticate an elephant. They go catch an elephant in the jungle, make a lot of noise so that the elephant, loses their orientation and it starts running. And then people are coming from all different sides. And then the elephant actually goes in the direction where these people want them to go. Once the animal reaches where they're supposed to, they put a big chain around one of the elephant's legs and they tie it to a tree or a pillar that they know that the elephant cannot break. So, for a few days, for a few weeks, the elephant tries really hard to break that chain and escape. And after some time, it gives up. It does not protest, it does not try to run away, because the elephant accepts its fate, that that's it, I'm helpless, I can't really escape. And then the human beings remove the chain, because they know that the elephant is not going to run. So our childhood experiences, our conditioning and programming has put those shackles around us, where we feel like we cannot stand up for ourselves. We cannot say no. We cannot draw boundaries. And we end up becoming people pleasers, and we bend backwards. So if the boss dumps a project on you, we don't say no, even if that project is not going to be helpful for us. If we don't get that raise, we are afraid to go and have a conversation with the boss. We just accept. In fact, we feel bad for the boss. When the boss says, oh, HR said no, I did my best, and we start feeling bad for the boss. But is the boss really invested in you? Did you ever try to find out? Bosses, a lot of bosses give those reasons because they sell, right? If the boss says, HR said no, they know that employees are not going to protest. But have you ever tried going to the boss and asking, HR aside, are you invested in my growth? Do you really feel at this point I am ready for that next position? So we try to avoid the real problems, and we try telling ourselves that, oh, it's my accent, it's my English, I am a brown woman. And like I said, I'm not naive to, you know, to say that there's no racism, there's no sexism. It's all there. But it's only after we figure out, asking ourselves, have I done everything to show up as a leader? Am I speaking in meetings? Did I connect with the senior leaders? Do I have a network of people? Am I able to position myself, talk about my projects confidently, talk about my accomplishments confidently? We don't do that. And then we start thinking about reasons that are not in our control, which again is an excuse to not addressing the real problem. So when I work with my clients, we basically address, where those limiting beliefs are coming from. Is it childhood trauma? Is it job trauma? Is it, is it your limiting beliefs, that feeling that you're not good enough, or your voice is not worth being heard? We address that first, and then we talk about strategies. But really, if you are a South Asian woman and you want to get ahead in your career, you really need to ask yourself, is this really your priority, or is it just a good to have thing? It's very important to get clear on what is it that you truly want. If getting ahead in your career is truly a priority, then the next step is to really ask, why am I not getting to that next level? Is it really your English? Is that the truth? Or is it that lack of confidence? Is it that fear of speaking up? Is that fear of articulation? Is that fear of strong personalities that is holding you back? Is it my childhood trauma that is holding me back? And then explore strategies. And I have tried to do this on my own, and it took me years. 17 years to figure this out. And honestly, you can do it on your own too. If you have the luxury of time, by all means, you can find all the answers. But if you are at a point where enough is enough and want to make this change quickly, then I want you to click on this link in the comment. I'm gonna post it here. Post in the comment www.unshackledcareerwoman.com/masterclass, where I go deeper in how we help clients get ahead in their career. And no, it's not your English. It's really exploring where that overthinking and hesitation is coming from to speak up, and how we break those barriers, and how we then teach strategies for clients to get ahead in their career. If you are interested in learning more, go to www.unshackledcareerwoman.com/masterclass, and you will get a clear picture of how you too can get unstuck in your career and become the leader that you deserve to be. Until next time, bye.